and he like lost some big pot, and he's like looking at the table, and all of a sudden he just like starts taking out his middle fingers, looks up at the sky, and goes, "Fuck you, God, fuck you."
Me and my buddy, we make it all of this money. Yeah, I know it's rude to be bragging. They never catching us lacking. Me and my buddy.
All right, guys, welcome to another Table One podcast. Co-host Justin Young, other co-host Art Parmann.
Hello.
And very special guest, thank you, Chris Brewer. Thank you so much for being here. Like,
Yeah, happy to do it.
We're in the throes of the World Series of Poker right now. This is literally day 2. So I know anyone that takes time out of their schedule to like do this, huge thank you, because like it's certainly not an easy time, but granted, like it's early enough in where no one's super tilted or making day 2s and
they haven't broken me yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Were you at the 25K draft last night? I thought I saw.
Yeah, I did. I did
head.
a draft with Bryce Yockey. We did it for the Beyond the Game, which is like Galfon's mental game group. So
who's your top pick?
Stevie was almost expensive one.
Chidwick?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So we have Nick Guga. I cannot say his last name.
I'll just try. Yeah, no. I know who you mean.
No, I know. I just can't. Zero chance. Like
Mr. Guggenheim?
yeah.
He sounds smart.
Yeah. Then we have, who else do we have? We have Ike. We have Peanut Punchery, which I think I'm pretty excited about that one because I am actually friends with them, and I imagine a lot of the mixed guys haven't really, had a chance.
No, that's a steal. I don't know what you got him with it for, but like that's got to be a steal for sure.
He's playing 3K and below mix. It has to be a good price.
Inside information.
I mean,
that's the whole draft. It's all about insider trading.
It's kind of nice. Well, I know you haven't had to go through it, Art, but like some of us cooler people, like we get texts throughout the month of like, oh, how many events are you playing? Like, and it's
no, I paid a guy to text me that. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be there. Actually, I actually went. I went and sat with Brent a little bit, watched him try to get Carrie Katz, but he was out of money. He couldn't afford him. He got the price bid up to $14 though on him. So that was
because his salary went down after that too.
Yeah.
McCall goes, sorry, 90% pay this year.
Should have picked me first.
Yeah.
And
thought that one through.
Full transparency, we do have a percentage of it used to be No Gamble, No Future, but it's turned into the Super Splash team. Sports Splash. Sorry. Like I did text Jeff and Brent this morning. So we do.
Is this a new sponsor or is it just their name?
It's a new sponsor. They got a sponsor to I don't even know what they do, but we're only a part owner of the team, so we only have to know part of the name.
That's right.
The Poco Go sponsorship list over the last 5 years is a hilarious list, by the way.
It is.
If you go through right now they have Monkey Tilt or something. They had that Brain Fuel energy drink.
Oh, yeah.
They had a t-shirt company that was this like crazy conspiracy theory. Like the money went to like proving that like the drones like actually were like it was something crazy. Ike and I went on like a whole deep dive into it because we just found it very funny.
Yeah, a little inside baseball on that. I was talking to Maury and he told me that like they had to scrub a lot of the Monkey Tilt off of their YouTube because they couldn't make the cut on because YouTube has started to tighten their filters on
they have standards somehow.
What's gambling content and basically the company just has to apply and say like, is it okay if we're on here? And they say yes or no, but Google's a big company and it takes a while apparently.
I mean, I respect it. I think KO is always out there hustling, finding a new sponsor, but it's just been I think the whole list is pretty great.
Yeah.
That's amazing. All right, let's get back on track, Justin.
All right. So anyways, yes. Sorry, where am I so strong? So I was really enjoying that. So normally we take our audience kind of like back in time to where you were a tiny brewer.
Yeah.
More of a
I was a much tinier brewer too. In back in time, that is accurate.
So like typically speaking, like most successful poker players go through a transition of like, wanting to be something else, of whether it be, an athlete or, a lawyer, a doctor, whatever, something more upstanding than a gamer for the most part. So did you grow up like playing games? Like was there like
I mean, I always enjoyed playing games. But like my big thing was when I was in high school, I was a very elite track runner and basically had my pick of schools. I was like a top 20 kid in the nation. So then like at that point, I remember I was looking at like Georgetown, Stanford, and Oregon. Oregon's the best track program. Stanford and Georgetown, great programs too, but obviously much better academics. I went on the route. I was like, oh, I want to try and make the Olympics. Went to Oregon. When I got there, I was good, but I would be like sixth man on Duke or something. Like the best I did was a seventh place at Pac-12s, and I ran with like one of the kids I ran with. Well, he's older than me. We have to call him kid, but one of the people I ran with was this guy Matthew Centrowitz, who like he won the gold medal in 2016.
Okay.
And like when I ran with guys like him or this other guy Edward Cheswick, I was like, oh, there was a gap here that is insurmountable. Like no matter how hard I walk, I'm top 0.1% and they're top 0.01%. And when you start getting to like these edges, the gap between that just becomes so massive. And then so once that dream went away, I had started playing poker in college and was like, this is pretty fun, and didn't really intend for it to be a Creole, but just happened.
So was it to feel the competitive edge, like, or competitive spirit, I guess? Or...
Yeah. I mean, it was just something to do too. Like, I don't know, probably was better than going out. Like Friday or Saturday nights, I didn't really want to go out and drink because I wanted to be fit and fast, and I was still trying to be as good a runner as I could be, even though I was pretty sure my career was ending at the end of college.
So,
Is there a professional running career that I don't know about? Like, what were you going to college for?
I mean, I went to college for technically I got a business major, but I was there.
He was a runner. You want to make the Olympics,
and there is like a pro running scene. It doesn't pay a ton, but like I have a lot of friends who went into it, and you probably make between 40 to 80K a year.
Oh, all right.
If you get into road racing and you all good enough, you can get some good prize money. Like some of the marathons, there is 100K prize money for winning. Like, I mean, obviously, the more prize money, the more elite guys show up, and the harder it is. Kind of,
the Kenyans fly over here. Yeah,
exactly.
I got you.
Like, I think like Boston, you might win over 100K for winning, but you need to be a top 5 marathoner in the world if you're gonna win it.
Okay. So Oregon was number one, and like I did read I'm gonna forget his name, but the creator of Nike, like he basically
he ran track at Oregon. He was back in the Bill Bowerman days, and Steve Prefontaine, if that name sticks out.
I mean, just because I read the book, but obviously since I don't remember Phil Knight's name, probably not.
Crazy thing about Phil is he's like the biggest track nerd of all time. Like he could tell you basically any time that any kid at Oregon's like ran in history. Like he loves Oregon.
So
track.
He knows your name?
High chance he would.
That's kind of cool.
Like he wouldn't recognize me. He wouldn't like know who I am. But if someone was like, "Oh, this kid," he'd be like, "Oh yeah, that kid ran like 7:58 in the 3." Like he would have a clue about like what I did in college running wise.
Still, but you have enough of an interesting story attached to you. Like, I bet you it probably stands out a little bit. I would hope so.
The fact that I became the gambler did. Yeah, I went. There's this track meet in New York that's Milrose invites, like this big indoor track meet that all the people come to, and I went and met up with a few old college teammates 2 years ago when I was out there. And there was this kid, Cooper Teal, who he's like the number 4 American in the country right now. I've never met him, but he went to Oregon, and he was like, "Chris Brewer, the gambling guy." And I was like, yeah, that's
gonna
me.
feel good. I mean, you're not gonna be famous, you might as well be infamous. Yeah, that's good. So when you were playing in college, like I wouldn't say you gave up on your dreams of being a runner or whatever, but like, when you kind of found this extra hobby, like was it just like amongst your running buddies or like some other friends?
So yeah, the first time I played it like ever was like a home game in 2012. The Olympic trials were going on in Eugene, so there was a bunch of guys in town. We played like a $5 tournament. The actual roster running wise is kind of sick. There was this guy Hassan Mead who made the Olympics, Centrowitz, who was like gold medalist. Then a bunch of other dudes who were like NCAA champions. I think Andrew Weeding was in it, who was also an Olympian. It was like this really like all-star track group playing extremely terrible poker. But that was my first time playing. I was like, this is pretty fun. Then we started doing some like $5, full-handed sit and goes occasionally. And then there was a local cold room that was about 10 minutes from where I lived called Full House Poker. It was incredibly fortunate, like scenario, the way Oregon laws are set up. You're not allowed to rake. So every club is a membership club. So like Full House worked in a way that you paid $15 a month or something to be a member, and then you paid a buy-in fee when you bought it. So, like, if you wanted to play 1-2, you paid 5% capped at $300, but you could buy in for like 2,000 chips. So you just paid $15 rake for the entire day. So it's like the
That's
greatest,
pretty nice,
it's the
yeah.
greatest 1-2 rake of all time.
Yeah. As long as you can survive for a few hours.
Yes.
Yeah. If you bust immediately, you're gonna be in trouble. But I started playing there and playing like some of their tournaments, and then I started trying to play cash. And I ran extremely hot, playing really badly in the beginning, and was like, "Oh, this is really fun." Lost the money back, and then was like, "Oh, I should try to get like good at this and
I could do
try to
this.
win." Yeah,
Sounds like every like day trading story I've ever read. They're like, oh, I can make money with this. Oh, and it's gone. And then I really could beat this. And then all the books get bought and
yeah.
the training.
And
sites get
that's basically exactly what happened. Like, I think I won $2,000, lost 1,900 back, and was like, "This is like not. I shouldn't do that again."
Yeah, we've had a couple. You're younger, right? How old are you?
I'm 30. How old am I?
32, 33?
32.
Yeah,
Okay, because I always wonder how people get into, because obviously Justin and I were both kind of near the poker boom,
Yeah.
slightly before the boom, and like almost everyone we've had on here that's had big success is like right there when Moneymaker won the thing, and you're like, it's 10 years later
Yeah.
or whatever, and you're finding it at an Olympic trial. It's
I think I'm a very fluky like getting into poker. I think most avenues I take in my life, I probably end up in finance or something, because I like games and I like trading, or like just trying to make money at things and being independent. But I don't think I would have ended up in gambling in most scenarios.
Oh, wow. Just a $5 Olympic trial.
Yeah, I mean, even this decision that I
$5
wanted to like pursue track over like just going to an Ivy League or Stanford, which, by the way, retrospectively, and I love Oregon. I had a great college experience, but it's insane that my parents let me do that. Like, if I had a kid and they were just like they could just go to Harvard, I'd be like, why are you going to somewhere else? I don't get it.
Yeah, from everything I've read, it's like there's like 5 or 6 schools where if you go there, like that's a fucking stamp on your resume that you're never gonna unsee as an employer.
You just get auto hired basically.
Yeah, you just have a 6-figure job out of college.
Right.
And 7-figure network.
Well, yeah. I mean, it might be 10-figure that way.
That's probably fair.
Per year.
Yeah. I mean,
so when did you start? I wouldn't say taking it seriously. When did you start like trying to get good? Or like, were you reading books? Were you like there's enough information even back then?
No, I mean,
I'm just saying, like, you kept with it.
Kind of. I mean, so like that was. I remember I found like 2+2, and I would read all the forums. I would read the live low stakes thread. They would have those like news. They would have like all the blogs that people would do. I would like read those. I was just like fascinated with it. I read Harrington's book on poker.
I like that.
Yeah, that one was really helpful. And then I read those Will Tipton's Heads Up book, which is this like game theory poker book. It was way too complicated for like what level of poker I was at, but it was an early one and like gave me some ideas. But I didn't really start trying to be like good until I like played through college. The game was just so soft. I didn't have to be that good.
Sure.
Like I probably played 3,000 hours between like my final 3 years of college at 1-2 and won $45 an hour or something at this game.
What?
It was insane.
At the Full House Club?
Yeah. I would just show up and just win 40. Like I just never, dude, I remember I went 42 days in a row without losing. I just never lost. I also was running amazing, like obviously.
Sure.
But like it was just
strong.
It was just so soft.
And there's no rake, right? So.
Yeah. Well, and like part of it was there was a big like Chinese exchange student. So they would just come, like these kids that, their families all multi-million families, they're playing 1-2.
Sure.
They would just show up, like have some drinks, joke around with each other, and like go all in blind and stuff. And I'm just like,
that helps.
Yeah. So yeah, I remember like my strategy was just literally like I just raised as big as possible until they stopped calling pre's. Like I would just have like ace king and I would just make it like $40 and I would just get 4 calls.
All right, we're going 50 next time.
Yeah.
It's a good strategy. A lot of people would still be raising like $8.
No, I just kept going bigger. Like I would just have like aces and be like, all right, we'll go with like $45. Like let's see what happens.
Only 3 callers. Ugh.
Yeah, it's like it wasn't like I was like trying to be good at poker. Like, I was just like
raising based on the strength of my hand.
Yeah.
I got 2s. I go $2. I got 3s. Can't go 3, but we'll go for 4.
You joke, but like it kind of was that way. Then I just see bet 100% of flops, and that was the strategy.
Are you tired of playing with players like this? Not this.
No.
Like this? Or this?
Or Do you want to play with players like this?
Oh, wait, you If you like having fun at the poker table, Table 1 is the game for you. We play high stakes, no limit, 100 blinds. And if you want to get into the game, it's actually super easy. We have a website, table1.vegas. You just go to the website, you click get a seat in the game, and fill out the form. It's that easy. It's your name, it's your phone number, it's the date that you're here, and I will personally reach out to you.
And it's only $5K minimum buy-in. You know, run it up at 2.5 and join us.
Man, you should write a book. I mean, it's a short book, but it sounds really good.
Yeah. But so it wasn't when I graduated, moved down to San Diego, and started playing at Ocean's 11. I don't know if you've ever been.
Oh yeah, I mean, I haven't been there, but I'm very well aware of it.
Yeah, and they had like a 10-25 game that would run. I was not rolled for it, hopped into it, lost more than I should have. There's a very consistent theme of me doing that, which is I don't go broke, but I go and like play some stake, lose like 40 to 50% of like my money, which is like 3 buy-ins for this stake. And I'm like, oh, that was dumb. Also, I should probably try to be good at the game. And then I like, go improve and play lower stakes for a while.
So
Intuition, you know, that's what we all did, I think, coming up.
what was your bankroll then out of college, making $45 an hour?
I think I left college with like 80K or something.
That's nuts. That's so much money.
Yeah, I felt like the richest kid in college. I was just like, I mean,
Were you buying beers from everyone?
every time. Yeah, I was just like, you guys want these $6 shots? They're on me.
Hell yeah. God,
Yeah.
Wish I knew you then. So why San Diego? Like,
That's where I'm from.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
so I just moved back home. Got an apartment in downtown San Diego, and that was a really fun time poker wise. Like as far as like having fun, I don't think I'll ever have as much enjoyment as I had then. We had this 10-25 that ran every Tuesday and Friday, and like the crew was a lot of like very enjoyable guys. You guys probably don't know who Newt Dog is, but like Tyler Cornell, you probably
I
do
do
know. There's this guy Greg Goldberg, whatever. But like the whole game we would start at 8 a.m. on Friday. We would play till 2 a.m., start drinking about 8 p.m. or something. And then like when the game broke, we'd stay up till 7 a.m. just drinking. And this was like every Friday. Like it's crazy because like now I would just die trying to do this. But it was just like so fun. And it wasn't like, you didn't feel like you were punting because everyone else in the game was drinking too. So it was like a fail battleground.
Yeah, right.
It wasn't like someone stayed sober. And like if the game did run through the night for some reason, like someone showed up, we'd either be like, you either have to drink or like if you sit, we're quitting. Like you can't sit in fresh. Like that's just not fail.
3 kamikazes, catch up.
Yeah, like it has to be something. We've been up all night and just like, well, on like our second round of Adderall because we try to stay awake.
That's good.
Yeah. It was fun.
Did you graduated though? You came down with your degree?
I did graduate.
But poker was your degree was your backup.
Did you not hear $45 an hour at 1 2?
I heard it. I was just thinking.
No,
like,
my parents would have been extremely disappointed. I come from like a very fortunate situation where like I have never really had to like struggle too much. I had college paid for by my parents. Knocking the tuition would have been incredibly irresponsible and just like actually disrespectful to what they did for me.
That's fair.
All right. So what time frame is this? Because I saw on your Hendon Mob, you started cashing tournaments in like, I want to say 15.
Oh yeah. No, I remember 2015, I came down from college for the summer and I like got like a 10th in a Venetian for like 11K, which I was like, wow, that was a lot of money.
I mean, it is.
Yeah.
Don't shrug that off. But so why did you come to Vegas? Why did you play the tournament? Like,
I came to Vegas because I just wanted to come play poker. Like it wasn't.
You didn't come with friends. Wanted to go to your first Sapphire experience.
Yeah, there was no strip club desire. It was purely to come play poker.
To strip his opponents of their chips.
Yeah, exactly. And then I just played the tournament.
Was the full house? Fun. Was that 18 and up, or was it?
It was 18 and up. Yeah.
Okay, so you had just turned 21, and
I just turned 21. Yep, okay, accurate.
That is the crux of the situation.
Yeah. So you moved down to San Diego in like 16, 17 then?
I graduated 2016 and moved back, and then I was in San Diego 2016 to 2018. Moved up to Orange County, and then played in LA from 2018 to like 2020. And then COVID happened and ended up playing a lot online and
Well, let's not
Yeah.
glaze over some of this stuff, by the way. A lot of it's some good stuff, I think, or I have to imagine so. So, at some point, you do get good enough to beat the 10 and a quarter at San Diego. I know you said like everyone's drinking, no one's really trying,
yeah.
including yourself. but,
Actually,
like,
hilariously, I looked back at that game just randomly. My lifetime net, and I played like 1,000 hours, and I was like minus $3,000 lifetime in that game. I just completely broke even. Neville beat the game.
Best time of his life.
It was fun though.
so now your bankroll
I
is
won every other-
77,000.
Yeah, I won every other game. I won a ton of 2-5. I won at 50-100 in LA. Just that specific game, I just lost $3,000.
That was just your hobby, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
It really was. I didn't know why I would go play, but it was fun.
Oh,
if anyone out there could spend $1,000 or sorry, 1,000 hours and only spend $3,000 on the
Yeah.
ranking hobby, like
and gain a lot of amazing friends.
I mean, to be
forever.
honest, it sounds silly, but that game was like fundamental to me becoming really good at poker, just because this guy, Tim, and also Tyler were just so helpful to me back then. And like, not that it was like some formal coaching relationship, but like we would just go drink and talk through hands, and they were just so much better than I was at poker at the time. But I like learned a lot just by like being drunk and hanging out with them.
whatever memories made it through to the morning, they worked.
Yeah. I'm like, I half remember the hand, but I think he said this.
Yeah, I wake up every morning and I ask my wife something. She said, "Do you not remember our conversation at 9 p.m. last night?" And I was like,
Oh,
"Oh,
yeah.
it's 9 p.m.
Yeah, I did that.
I'm
with-
gone."
I do that with my fiance all the time. She's like, I told you that we were doing this. And I'm like, I believe you did.
Yeah.
Sorry
not,
that I-
not saying a liar.
Yeah.
I'm just embarrassed.
Yeah.
Well, my brain is for poker. Anyway,
Yeah.
repeat yourself.
I know what you said. But
Yeah.
just make sure you know what you said.
Yeah.
So why Orange County? Were you just looking for bigger games or like more consistent games?
I'd been playing, so there was the 1025 that ran twice a week, but I'd also been playing this like 5-10 game at 7 Mile, which is this casino that is 7 miles from the border, hence the name. And
never move that border.
the game got like reduced to 2-5, and I just was like, okay, well, this has gotten like kind of small, and I figured, I was like, Commerce had a lot of good games back then. Like, I think it's died down now, but it used to just be like every day at Commerce you were guaranteed 2 to 3 tables of 10-20, and it could get a lot bigger by the end of the night, and the games were good. Commerce was like a very, very sweet place to play poker.
I mean, action-wise, yes.
Action-wise, actually,
Ease up the rest.
Very good place to make money. Horrible place to play poker.
so it gets so much shit, but I loved it, man. I like knew all the, because like I played though all the time, right? So like I knew all the staff, so like all that was taken care of. The food there is really bad unless you actually know that you're allowed to custom order like anything you want. So you could just like make your own bowl that was like delicious. You just couldn't order anything that was actually on the menu. Then it was terrible. You just had to know the secrets.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah,
Inside man, guys.
Yeah.
Do they even have free food anymore? Or?
probably not.
Yeah.
I don't even think they have the top section anymore. I think I saw something that it's all just in the bottom, like, the bottom section was always pretty awful, but the top section was kind of nice.
So, but you haven't gotten cancer from touching the chips, though. Like,
No, I mean,
so for those that don't know, like, there's a huge sign when you walk into Commerce that says, like, there's a bunch of shit on our chips. It's going to give you
Yeah.
cancer at some point, but come on in.
But you're already sick anyway. You're here gambling.
But I mean, they do have the pink 5Ks.
Dude, those are sexy.
Those are some of the sweetest chips.
I agree with that. That is
Yeah.
that's one of the sexier
Bright-
chips I've
the
ever
bright pink 5K and the teal 1K is a really great chip set.
seen. I agree.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, the oversized 100s are kind of annoying for some reason to me, but like,
I do agree. I think every California casino has the oversized hundreds, and
Is it hundreds and up are oversized? or-
yeah,
Oh, okay. Well,
which that part's at least like okay, but the hundreds were always like they didn't make them as nice, so you had this like really weird clanky chip, and then you had like nice biggle
isn't it,
chips.
like, aren't they white?
yeah, they're white.
Yeah.
And you had to get special racks for them too when you rack up. God forbid you grab like the normal rack and like try to rack up hundreds. And
Yeah,
might as well put them in your pocket.
Imagine like your local casino, the whites. I mean, they call fucking $1 chips whites.
Yeah,
right?
sure.
Like,
Yeah, right.
You're like, oh,
Yeah.
maybe they have to be oversized because too many people were coming and tipping the whites.
Yeah.
Man.
yeah, maybe.
All right. Anyway, we're getting off.
Yeah, sorry. So obviously, like, I understand. Like, I put in my hours
Yeah,
and
yeah.
dues at Commerce, and like, it's once you get to know the system, it can be a really good place. But it is a very
I mean, it
like you have to grease the right palms,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
even
No,
then,
it
like,
wasn't.
it's-
It wasn't like Commerce was this unique place because it really did resist private games for a long time, and like So it stuck to like having like public games, but there was some level of like some people got text from the floors, some didn't.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you would like some VIP, if like the right people in the game, you could skip the VIP ahead of the list, but other times you couldn't. Like there was nothing was completely clear what was allowed and wasn't. And like also like I just thought I was reminded of this recently actually, because someone angled in some big EPT main event final table or whatever. And I was watching it. I was like, dude, I saw that every day for 3 years. Like, I was like, I was like, I'm not saying that it's okay, but I was like, I just feel like at some point, if you play enough live poker, you're just like, yeah, this is part of the game.
Yeah, this guy, he said raise, and then he said, "Oh, I mean call."
Dude, I remember one time some guy like he was like kind of short stack. I had some overpay. All the board came like 985. I like look over. He has like $300. There's like $400 in the pot. I jam, and he just like drops like 6 black chips out of like hundreds or whatever out of his hand and says call. And he just had $1,000 and obviously had flopped the nuts and picked up his chips. So I didn't see it, and I was like, well. So it goes.
That was the breaks.
Yeah, I didn't fight it. Like he got me. I don't know. That was the rules of combos.
Yeah. Len Ashby had a great story. I think the first time we had on video, he's probably told it a million times. There was a guy in the game that just couldn't win. So the guy would like put them all in, but he would like palm like a couple 5Ks in his palm. So like when he called, he would like call with like a chip over here. And if he was good, he would, put the other 10K out there if he wasn't. And Lynn told the story is like 2 guys were complaining that he was doing this. And like Lynn pulled him aside. He's like, look, this guy can't fucking win. Let him do whatever the fuck he wants to do. It's okay, man. You calm down. You're going to get all the money at the end. I promise.
That reminds me of this. There was a, I'm going to avoid any names here, but there was like a guy who played a Commerce who also never won. And I'm saying like never won because he would play until like he lost.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
So like, and the only time I ever remember him going to the cage with chips and leaving was someone in the game. This guy would say like sometimes outrageous stuff. He said something outrageous. Someone else in the game like lost their mind because they said it was racist. Like it developed into this whole thing. Like security had to come over. The guy left. And do you know who Majid is? Like he's been at Commerce forever.
Oh, I know who he is. I don't know him, but I know who he is.
I know Majid just said they're like he's not even like the most talkative guy. And he goes, I don't think he knew you were allowed to cash out chips until today. It was just so like it was just, but I don't even think he meant it jokingly. I think it was just like this serious thought. He's like, I think he just learned something today.
He's supposed to say that internally and it just slipped out. He's like, oh. All right.
You buy the chips, you have your time, however long it lasts.
Yeah, that's how the guy viewed poker. He's like, yeah, you just like pay for your allotted gambling time.
Dude, I know Wolfgang is a very famous name now in poker, but there was this guy who used to play at 510. You probably never played with him because you were playing bigger, but I played 510 for a stretch, like 2 years. And this guy named Wolfgang, I'll never forget it. He would always come in and same thing. He would buy in for whatever he bought in for, run it up or down, wherever he's at. And like I had seen this guy rack up. He knows how racks work. And he had done it so many times. And they're just like there, getting calls from his wife. He's like, oh yeah, I'll be right home, honey. And the guy is like an older German guy. And he just I never one time saw him cash out.
So he'd rack up, have it to the side. And like, I'm going to leave in 5 minutes.
Yeah, he might have like
play out the rack.
He was a very like fucking volatile player.
Yeah.
He would just like go nuts. And I mean, that's why you never cash out because you fucking lose. But he would go nuts. And then sometimes it would work and he'd run up a huge stack and he'd have it all here. And, 7 hours later or whatever, he's gone.
Dude, it's funny because like, I feel like people always like want to know like high stakes gambling stories. But like, honestly, most of the people that play high stakes, like, yeah, those crazy lunatics and like a lot of degens and stuff. But like, I feel like it's a lot more like mellow. All like my craziest gambling stories, all like 10-25 and below. Just like complete degeneracy, like insanity. People like the sickest people play the low stakes.
Yeah, that sounds very
that does sound right.
People allow themselves to fuck off for like lower money. Just
even like simple things get exciting at high stakes. That's why, because it's so much money. But
yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. Like it's like the money like gets people's attention. But like I remember one time I played 10-25. It was like some 22-year-old kid who like went to the blackjack table and won like 12,000 and decided he was gonna play this 10-25 game. And he like lost some big pot. and he's like looking at the table, and all of a sudden he just like starts taking out his middle fingers, looks up at the sky, and goes, "Fuck you, God, fuck you." And I just lost it. Normally try not to like laugh too much at the guy, but I just couldn't. I just told to the sky and says, "Fuck you, God."
I'll try that one next time.
Yeah.
It's a big pot. You
It was
motherfucker.
just great because he like sat there, like contemplated it, like slowly came out.
Hold it in. Hold it in. We promised we wouldn't do this again. Oh, here it comes.
Oh man.
That was good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, really quick, guys. Phenom Poker is out now. It is live. And if you want to support Table 1, just go to joinphenompoker.com and that will help us. Fill in your information and you'll be on with us.
Tons of people on there, tons of action, especially until Art and I will run out of money, I think.
That's true. And we are doing a some sort of free roll. Anyone who signs up through our link, we're going to eventually reveal the details on Twitter, but if you sign up through our link, we are going to go all in up to 10 times at $100 no limit until somebody wins the $100. We might stack you 10 times and you'll lose 1,000 in this promotion, but we are trying to give away 100. So if we accidentally stack you 10 times, thanks. Thanks for playing. All right, join phenompoker.com. Now!
I hate to get away from the good
No,
gambling
it's
stories.
fine.
Tournament poker? Should we?
No, I want to follow the cash game track just a little bit longer because, I read anywhere, and I know how true Wikipedia's can be, but they basically said that you're just like crushing like the LA scene to the point where you got as big as like playing 1K, 2K. Is that real? Like that seems absurd.
The biggest I played in LA ever was 200, 400, 800.
Okay, that's plenty.
Obviously I had sold for that, so
Yeah.
like I didn't have all myself. That was a post live at the bike stream.
Okay.
We just kept playing, so that was one thing. Near the end, I like had gotten a spot in the stream, which was nice, and I was getting to play kind of regularly. And I think a lot of times people would like watch the stream and be like, "Oh, they're playing big, like whatever." But like, it was pretty common for it to continue going post stream, and that would usually be when the game would get like really, really big. Also, Gale you'd always do the most empty threats of all time. You'd be playing like 100, 200, and Gale would be like, "Guys, if we don't bump it up to 200, 400, I'm gonna leave." Like, and we'd be like, "All right, Gale,
Have a good night.
See you later.
See you tomorrow, buddy."
I mean, and like we'd be like, and like like a bunch of people would be like, "Yeah, okay." Someone would say no and go like, "All right, fine, we keep playing 100, 200." It was like he was in on it though. Like he knew it was like an empty threat
Yeah.
too.
It's just a free roll, right?
Yeah,
Just
he's like, maybe we can
please
play
get this
big."
straddle on. But instead of please, I'm out of here. Maybe.
Okay. Now, I guess I will get into the tournaments. I was going through again your hinting or whatever, and everything was, I wouldn't say, when I say reasonable, it was very respectable. Nothing wrong with that at all. But like everything was pretty reasonable, respectable, and then like seemed like around COVID time, like a switch flipped for you, or like where you decided to either play bigger, or you took more gambles in tournaments, or you wanted to just dive into tournaments.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So I'm gonna stall in 2019 for this. Beginning of 2019, I went into the year like whatever. I'd been playing cash for a while, but I probably had something. I had some small, like slightly it was between 100 to 200K net worth, you know, whatever. Like, and I was fine. And then I just started winning every hand. It was amazing. It was such a fun time. I just know like I would just always have a set. Like every spot, I was just like, "Oh, I have a set again." Like, what did you expect?
And they have an overpair?
Yeah. No, like
Or a lower set?
Yeah.
Other
The
two pairs?
Fedor Holtz of cash games?
Yeah, I was just like every spot. I was just like, "Oh, I get to bet 2 times the pot again," and like the guy gets to call, and I show him the winner. Like it was just, so I just started winning like everything. And then I had a spot where like there was another reg in LA who had been like having a really like he had been on a big downswing, and like this sounds absurd because I can't imagine this happening now. They like wanted to play heads up, but not because of like, "Oh, this is a good spot." They just wanted to play something that had high variance, so they had a chance to get even.
Oh my God.
So like
That actually makes sense.
we started playing like 50, 100 heads up, and then 100, 200, and then like I won like I think 160K in this session. But like it got to the point where the person was so tilted that they would 3-bet me before I opened. So like I would look at my hand and I would look up and see if there was a 3-bet or not.
See if the 1500's out
You,
there
you
yet?
didn't know
Yeah.
how big to make the raise.
I mean, like,
Min raise and see how big it was. Yeah.
no, I it always,
You just fold, yeah.
it wasn't even like I was trying to like take my time to let him do it. Like it was just instant. Like he would look at his calls and be like, "Yeah, I'm 3-betting this one," and then throw it out. And I'd be like,
It's not like
"Okay."
you're limping the button, so you're either gonna open or not.
Yeah, but I mean, it's pretty crazy though, because like you
Yeah.
just have like Jack 9-0, and you're like, "Well, I guess I fold."
Yeah. Oh man.
I mean, it's pretty, your win rate gets pretty bad if your 3-bets have if I have the 0% fold to your 3-bet.
Yeah, and you get to
Wow.
decide if you put
Good
the
spot.
300 out or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just,
Yeah, that's a good point.
but
I wonder why this guy was downswinging.
yeah,
Figure it out.
I mean, yeah, that was the very end, and I will say that was probably only like the last hour or two, and
Okay.
then like I was friends with the guy. Like actually, I kind of like ended the match. I was like, dude, like I was like, I don't know, like you're gonna lose your whole box. Like
Yeah.
there's no winning in this scenario, and
Yeah.
but yeah, anyway, so like it was just this insane run where I just won everything live, and then COVID happened and started playing online, and also just ran insane. Played some tournaments, played some like 1,500 cash on ACR, was winning there, and then they opened these 200, 400 no ad hole tables just randomly, no announcement. They just opened one day, and
No, that's the one where you can
That's
buy
the
in
one-
short.
you can buy in short, but you have to come back with the stack you have
That's
within the last 7 days. If you wait
Oh,
7
sick.
days,
Okay,
if
nice.
you wait 7 days, you can come back to 10 big
Short.
blinds. But everyone has to stall at 10.
I didn't realize
but you
it was
get
7 days.
yeah, you get insanely deep. By the way, it's the most genius thing by ACL because like if you regularly play these games, and let's say you ran up like 800K stack, your options are you always have to have 800K on the site, or you have to wait 7 days to play. So it's like an incredible way to make people keep money on the site.
I mean, gotta have the drug, man. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
But yeah,
you
there's
can only buy in for the small amount, right? You can't like
Yeah.
match the stack or anything crazy like that, right?
no,
So-
yeah. So you can only
If
buy
you're
in
a new
for
player,
10,
10.
but
Gotcha.
if you've played within the last 7 days, you come in for what you bought for.
Sick.
Okay, all right.
But yeah, so the game ends up super deep eventually, but it starts off shallow. So they open these tables, and there was like some very big VIPs playing it, which because I don't know, that's just how the beginning of COVID was. People just were at home and playing online.
Stuck at home. What am I
Yeah.
gonna do?
Yeah, so like I remember I hopped in this game, I sold like some piece to it, and I mean to this day it's still one of my biggest cash game wins. In one day I won 380K in this session.
Holy shit, what made you sell a piece if you were on such an upswing?
I mean, I couldn't afford 200 forge. Right? Like, I didn't know I was just gonna win every hand.
I'm just following the track, man. You're
Yeah.
only buying in for 10K or whatever. Like, fuck it. Man,
Yeah.
I might sell when my stack gets.
But
to
yeah,
200K,
yeah, exactly.
But I'm not
I
gonna
understand.
sell at the beginning.
I mean, sure, that's fail. I probably should have. Instead, I went the responsible route. I was like, hey, this variance, you know. But yeah, so I won that, and then I had like a lot more money at that point than I had a year ago, and then like online tournaments on GG, and I started like playing those and ran insane there. Like honestly, I mean, I think I was like a winner on all these games, but I just ran so hot everywhere all of 2020, like and whatever. So won a ton there, and then I ended up getting a staking deal for like the biggest stuff. And then post 2020 was when I started playing high stakes tournaments. And to be honest, I did get my comeuppance or whatever.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're
we'll
known
get there,
for
yeah.
you're known for like running bad, not
Yeah,
actual running.
Exactly. Yeah. We'll get to the end of the story here soon. Don't worry. Well, actually, not the middle part, I guess.
Yeah.
But okay, your son running your dick off, which is fucking fantastic. And then you just want to play bigger and bigger, which is very natural. Like
Yep.
just in
Yeah.
I mean,
And, like,
any
at this-
competitive.
And at
person
this
would
point,
do.
I'm like on a staking deal to play basically as big as I want. It's everything like 10K plus.
So how did you get the staking deal? You don't have to mention any names or anything like that, obviously.
I mean,
but,
it was
like,
just someone I had played live poker with
Okay.
and had been friendly with, and like whatever we kind of had a friend group, and they were the person I had like sold action to in the PLO game,
Okay.
and I had sold action in a few other spots, and then the person at some point was like, "Oh, instead of like selling, would you rather just be staked?" And I was like, "Yeah, that sounds good."
I'll take more and
Were-
less risk.
were you
Yeah,
were you being
yeah.
full staked, or was it you still had some skin in the game?
So for 10K up, I was on a full stake.
Okay.
And then if I played below 10K, I would usually keep it on my own. I mean, it was an incredibly great spot for me. it didn't work out, I think, as amazing as either was hoped, but that's partially just how poker goes. MTTs are crazy, and
Especially staking in general.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
whatever.
we were dumb. Like I had ran so hot, and like it's this thing when you're running really good, like you know what variance is, like as like an intellectual idea, but like you don't know of it as like an actual
I
idea.
only know how the upside
Like,
feels.
I feel like
Yeah.
I'm running good, but maybe I'm just running medium. Maybe I'm supposed to
Yeah.
be winning way more.
Exactly. So like we were
variance.
just like putting like 100% of like 300K is like on stake, which is like, I mean, I don't know, like a very normal MTT downswing is 100 buy-ins. So like what I mean, the amount of money that like you actually need to be doing this, like we probably should have been a little more responsible than we were at the time.
Yeah, but yeah, when you see the light at the end of the tunnel,
Yeah,
sometimes you don't
yeah.
miss a
We were
train.
just like,
Yeah, I
we
get
were just
it.
like, poker's the easiest thing ever. We're gonna win 20 million.
I like that. It's actually nighttime. That's a train.
No, no. That's honestly a pretty good analogy. It really is MTTs.
really is. Oh, speaking of which, guys, this is still
Yeah,
day 2 of
WSOP.
WC. We're very happy still. Well, I'm getting sadder and sadder the more I talk about it. So you have the staking deal. Are you starting right away, just like playing high stakes EPTs? Like I don't
Yeah,
think
so
Tritons are a thing yet, or Tritons are.
EPT and Tritons weren't running, so
Yeah.
it was all at Poco Go
Right.
and World Series and whatnot. And yeah, just started playing live, and I mean it went okay in the beginning, and then started going like not great. And it was specifically like, I mean, actually, I think like I was looking back at this the other day. I think the most buy-ins I ever downswung at any point was like 40 buy-ins. Like I never actually ran that terribly in tournaments. I just managed
big
to,
ones.
yeah, I just managed to. I didn't cash 100K for like 3 years or something. I think the first 100K I ever cashed was Triton Madrid. I remember this, and it was 20, and so it was middle of 2022. Yeah, so I went a year and a half without cashing 100K, and I played every
You were
single
playing them.
one, and I was max filing every single one.
Did the guy that was, or the group, or the guy that was backing you, like flinch at all? Was there any kind of like ascension or anything?
I mean,
like that?
at some point you begin to, right? Like
Yeah,
you
sure.
have to. If you'd be insane not to, because like also you should, even if you know variance is a thing, even if you think you're winning, you should always question whether or not you're winning. Like if you're not questioning it, you're kind of. It's just. I mean, everyone in poker does. You could talk to Linus. I'm sure that Linus at some point has played someone in cash. I'm like, am I actually winning? Like you just have to have that question. So of course those moments, like we talked and like we did try to change things. Like maybe like you don't have to max file everything. You can wait to max late edge. Like we learned things as we went, but he was an incredibly good backer for the entire length of all agreement, and there wasn't too much flinching. I will say, like
Yeah.
it just
I mean, yeah. I mean, if you are immersed in poker and understand the variance, even as a backer, like you, even though emotionally you're upset, like you know the variance. It's not like you are just
I think
oh, you're fucking off. Like it's your fault.
I think one thing that made it both annoying but also easier not to flinch was like so much of my stuff was like so much of my variance was captured in such like a public way. Like, because there's a lot of ways to like run bad, right? Like you could just not have a good hand and you just bust in level 1 every time. But like I kept doing it where like I would, be on the bubble, have 70% and lose, which is like a more painful way to do it emotionally. But from like a win rate thing, you're like, well, we were there. Like all we had to do was win the all in. It's like easier to be like, oh, like well,
So I know I might be dating myself. Have you ever seen the movie Kingpin before? It's a comedy with like Woody Harrelson. I'm not expecting anyone to watch it.
I have not.
Okay, so
Do you like Woody
it's a
Harrelson?
fantastic movie. Fairly Brothers. Either way, so
Amish man gets into gambling.
Well, no,
Go watch it.
It's Woody Harrelson's character he was basically a professional bowler.
Yeah.
And he basically pissed off the wrong guy. They basically took his hand off and gave him a hook.
Yeah.
And but like he kind of self-destructed himself like through like much of the movie. And like a guy comes to him and he was like, man, I almost Munsoned that. And that was his last name. He's like, what did you say? He's like, Munsoned it. Like, like having the world in the palm of your hand and blowing it. And he's like, oh, okay. And like, I'm not saying you months in it, but like, you know, like it was like one of those things like, and like as someone that watched a lot of those high rollers, it was like, you're right. Like you were like 1, 2, 3, 4 away from the money so many times. And it was just like, oh, he brewered it. Like, you know,
No, I mean,
like, I mean, it's again, it's not your fault. You got it in good so many times, but like, you're just like,
dude,
oh, I expect Brewer to be in the top 20%. And then I expect him not to be there in the top 10%.
yeah, I mean, I just remember like, obnoxious. It was obnoxious, but like every single time I ever had a stack, like I would just. This was like when Sean Paley was playing in the studio. I would just have to listen to an hour and a half straight of Sean Paley running around the room going, Brewer has a big stack. When's he gonna bust? I'm just like, all right, here we go again.
God. That's all right, yeah. If Sean Perry had to fucking commentate my life on my downswings, I don't think I'd be in poker anymore. And he has been there for a lot of it.
No, I mean he was there for it was the studio was a different vibe back then too. It's just gotten different. I don't even want to say better or worse. It was more private clubby back then and a little bit more high stakes, and like everyone kind of was like a bit more of a hustler. Now it's more of like a spot where people who are in between getting to the highest stakes and all past the low stakes go to like try to grind against each other. It used to be more of like it was very high stakes, but also there was always this like kind of like everyone was trying to get a sports bet or something.
Right.
Interesting. Yeah, because over there, that's the balancing act, right? You have to fill. It's kind of like a real estate game. You got to fill the whole room.
Yeah,
as many people and rake as you can, but also you want it.
It used to be a little bit more. It felt like it was like Kaylee Cat's private tournament.
Correct. Yeah. And I will say, as one of those people that was kind of fringe back and forth for the entire duration. Like, yeah, I wouldn't say I felt like an outsider because I knew enough of you guys like loosely. Like, I didn't feel like any kind of way, but like I could tell I was coming into some kind of boys club almost. Where like
no, it was the vibe was just very different. I mean, I think for the company, it's way better what it is now.
Sure.
But it was and like I said, I don't even know if I liked it more. It was just like different back then.
That's true. Like, it was a lot more free to just talk shit to literally 99%
of
people.
I mean, that for sure. The whole room talks shit to each other back then.
Where now, like,
if someone played a hand bad, like it was. Dude, I never won, and I really, he's a fantastic player, and he isn't the type who's going to KO. So, but like,
it's going to be a good story when you started out like complimenting the guy you're about to.
No, he's a terrific player.
No, I mean, it's just so like Bonomo played some hand where he showed up in like a 4-bet pot where he like called a 4-bet with like queen 10 off, and whatever, he like jams on like king queen 3 and just gets stacked by ace king or something. It's like just some like ridiculous hand. And Sam Savoel just immediately just starts laughing and goes, I know Ike didn't teach you that one. And it's just like, but it was just like, that was like the vibe. Like you just like chat, like Sam and Sean will just like always like fighting, but it was like brotherly, and it was, I don't know. It was this whole thing.
Yeah, no, that sounds right, actually. Yeah.
Amazing.
So, you do get a little bit of a reprieve or uptick in 23.
Yeah,
the end of
2023 was,
is the backing deal still going on then, or
still going on then?
Okay,
yeah.
Good.
So he got
I don't even know who your backer is. I'm kind of rooting for him at this point.
He got to win some money back. Yeah, no, 2023 was much better. I mean, it was kind of crazy because like end of 2022, I actually tried to quit poker. Like I moved to New York. I took a job with the guy who was backing me, like at his company. I had the job for 6 months. Absolutely hated it. And then nothing. The company was great. Everyone was nice. It was purely a me thing. But it was just like couldn't have a boss. Couldn't do any of this. That was miserable.
You tasted the good life a little bit too long.
Yeah, I mean, it is something like gambling is extremely stressful, and there's so many bad days and whatever. Like I'm not trying to say it's all paradise out here, but I do think people underappreciate how sweet gambling world kind of is in general. Like you don't really have to do that much. You got to play games all the time.
Right.
Yeah,
just got to pay bills. That's it.
Right. Those fucking bills keep coming.
Yeah, the paying the bills part sucks. But
can you just tell them about the equity you have in your makeup? Like, there's a lot. I have a good chance to pay these bills at some point. Can I put the power bill on makeup?
I will say the one thing, if you actually build up good credit in the poker world, it might be the only place where you could just literally go to your friend and be like, hey, I can't pay my bills this month. Could I have the money to pay my bills? Your friend would be like,
yep.
Yeah, of course.
Not only your friend, like probably like people that barely know you would probably
Yeah.
say yes to.
I mean,
which
yeah.
is it's crazy how the poker
Yeah,
world
this
works.
is that's always the running bit, right? How much money if you
Yeah.
if you
You're going to leave town tomorrow.
Yeah,
how much money could you scrounge up before you left
Yeah.
town? It's
I mean,
it's a lot of money. That's the sad part.
I
I-
gave 2,000 to someone last night that I hadn't seen in 2 years, and they just looked like, they were like, oh, they're playing a game. Look like they were just, oh, can I get the 2K?
Well, I'd
I'm
be
like,
curious is at what point would like people start being like, hey, this guy has asked a lot of people for money.
Well-
like at some point, somebody would be like, hey, Chris has just asked his like 50th person if they want a piece of the next $1 million buy-in.
you know what? It would still work because I've
I
been a
agree.
part of there's just been a lot of that in the poker world that just
Yeah.
has happened, and that's part of what comes with the
Yeah, I
trust that
mean-
we all have in each other. It's
I think most people in the poker world are very trustworthy. I guess everyone has a spot where they can get desperate enough, but I don't think anyone. I think almost no one. All the exceptions, all people who are the scammers and set out with the intent to scam. But I think almost no one ever sets out with the intent to scam.
I agree with that. I think
Yeah,
95% of scams are just someone who thought, they had
It was
the
gonna go
money,
well.
They thought they
Yeah.
had the ability to pay it and did not calculate the risk properly.
Yeah,
So I mean, we're all guilty of it at some point. In some level, we're all
Yeah.
guilty of it in some
Yeah.
way.
Overly optimistic. You get on a high, get on a
I mean, I've scammed
Dopamine,
myself
that's-
many times.
yeah, that's true.
thinking
That-
I'm going to win.
The self scam, yeah, that one that one's always a rough one where like me and a friend had a situation one time where like like we said that we'd like text to confirm a piece was on, forgot
Sure.
to text, and then someone like wins, then you have to like go through this discussion. But like you both know no one's trying to do anything bad, and it's like like sometimes you just have to be like, hey, like I just don't want this to be bad blood, so like you'll take the bad side of it, or vice versa, like whatever. But
That's correct. And
Yeah.
that happens like even in my marriage or whatever. We'll
Yeah.
we'll get in a silly argument or whatever, and like one of us will just like, we're on the same team here. You remember
Yeah,
that? Like
yeah.
and it's like, oh yeah, you're not trying to fuck me. I'm not trying to fuck you. You just have a different point of view of this thing. Okay, this is
Yep.
it turns into a very reasonable conversation then, because like I've had it with Art numerous times, like the same kind of deal where it's like, I'm pretty sure you owe me this money. I was like, I don't think I owe you that money. And then
Oh.
like it's just like, okay, well,
I
let's split in
have
the middle, or let's go like, how sure are you? Well, I have 99%. Well, I'm only 90% sure. So let's
yeah, you have the
yeah.
really close friends who
Yeah.
there's 100% chance someone is out 10 to 20K like one way or the other,
Sure.
and you just don't know which
Of course.
way. Like
I
the
agree.
accounting has just gotten off by $1,000 out of the 100 transactions you've
Correct.
done like enough times, but you guys, no one's doing anything. You just have no way how it went.
That's- I don't believe in an afterlife or anything like that. I'm not trying
Yeah.
to get philosophical, but like if there is, nothing would make me happier if it was like a baseball card where you look on the back of like my thing. It was like, okay, how do I do in transactions where I fucked up? Oh, I'm negative. Oh, Jesus. Oh, I actually fucked Art here. Oh,
Got him.
like I kind of want that to be a thing. Like, I don't know why. I just really do.
It's like, I don't know what sketch show it is. It might have just been a TikTok, but there was something where somebody goes in like a phone booth or whatever, like, and the guy's like, oh, you're dead actually, and that's just like that. He's like, but it devolves into like, oh, has my wife ever cheated on me? And they're like, no. And he's like, does she know I cheated on her? and she's like, they're like, no. And it's like, okay, good. Does she know I was with her best friend or something like
Yeah.
that? And then it was just fucking set up, and like she comes in and like starts yelling at him.
Oh, no, that's good. No, I remember there's a Family Guy one that is some similar to this. One of the Family Guy characters was dying, and they go to heaven, and they're like, "So who was right?" and the guy's like, I think the guy's like the Mormons. And he goes, "Damn."
Yeah.
And that's just the end of the clip.
All right, speaking of heaven,
Yeah.
upswings.
Yeah, no. So during 2023, I think WSOP had I don't know if it was their first one, but like a 250K high roller.
Yeah, that was my first bracelet. Was the 250?
which is nuts, by the way. Like your first bracelet, you're on this massive downswing.
yeah.
How
it was,
deep was the downswing, by the way?
So I think how much was I at peak loss? I think peak loss
40
I had
buy-ins.
lost.
Sounds like 4 million.
No, I was gonna say I
100K.
think it was somewhere between 6 to 8 million
Oh my
was how much I was down over like a 2-year stretch.
And before we get into the upswing, and
Yeah.
I hate to cut you off,
No,
but
it's fine.
I'm curious about this.
Yeah.
As someone that has backed people before. So at what point? Oh, sorry. At what point did you ever like? I know the competitive nature of people just doesn't allow them to do this sometimes, but did you ever like? Am I really going to play a 10K when I'm $6 million in makeup? Like the first place is going to be 200K.
Yeah, so
like,
at some point what we started doing is I started buying pieces
Okay.
for myself and things. So that way it was still worthwhile for me to
I've
play
heard of
stuff.
that.
yay! That's what we did.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean you just hit some point, right? Like Yeah, 'cause like you said, you're playing a 10K. I mean, also the incentives get really bad. Like I would never do this, but technically, if I'm 6 million in makeup, the best thing I could do is go walk into the casino and ask someone to flip me for 6 million.
Sure, of course.
It's just, oh,
It's
ask
a
them to
free
flip me
roll.
for 12 million. Like
Exactly.
I get 3 million if I win and I lose nothing if I lose. I would never do that. And like obviously that's super scummy, but like the incentives get really bad as you start getting deep into makeup if you don't give someone the piece. Honestly, like just the makeup model in general is probably not a great model. And I don't really intend to ever be staked again. I always just rather sell action because of that. But yeah, that's what we ended up doing.
Sorry, I didn't want to jump
No,
in.
it's totally
I was
fine.
like, I don't know.
Yeah.
No, that's
I
good.
always
We
think
had,
it's like a weird
we
spot.
had like a backer on that has been kind of doing that professionally for, or not even professionally, but like he treated it like a business.
Yeah. Yeah.
And one of the things we talked about was like treating it more like a startup where like you invest some kind of seed capital and the person like grows it every time they take out money, like you get
Yeah.
money. Like I think there's a lot of other ways to do it other than the makeup model that just happened to work because the games were so easy and
Yeah. I think
sheets
I
were
think
like,
that
this sounds right.
I think the makeup model also is like it makes sense for like it makes sense if you're gonna play 100,000 hands a month of 2-5 cash online or something. Like it's a
Yeah.
great model then. There's no issue. But like you're gonna deal with high rolls with like varying stakes. Like honestly, and like I've said this to the guy who's backing me. Like it's not at the highest stakes, it's not a good deal for the backers. And like it's not something that I intend to like go into again. It's just it's tough to win, right? Because like let's say you win $6 million straight in high rolls. Awesome. 3 million to each of you. And then let's say you go on a normal downswing. You lose 5 million. Like your back was down 2 million.
Yep.
You're up 1 million total in tournaments. He's down 2 million. You're up 3 million. Like that deal's terrible.
Yeah.
Really is.
And not to mention that, but like there's also the fact that the upside is kind of capped for the backer too, because at some point you're going to go on your own.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing.
So you
Yeah.
don't,
They don't get you for life. If,
Yeah.
can't get like
if you win 20 million and all up 10 million, you're not going to stay back.
yeah, you're
Like,
going to
gonna
gamble
quit.
for a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, you just can't get like venture like returns, but you're making like huge kind of risks.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, yeah, you're putting in like you're doing something where you're going to need to give the guy 5 to 10 million in liquidity theoretically over a couple years. Like high stakes backing is just, I think it's something like action buying makes a ton of sense.
Right.
It's good. I think everyone benefits from action buying. You just like you can sell at markup, which is good for the player. You sell at markup, it's still profitable for the buyer. It's just a great model, but
Yeah.
makeup not great at the highest stakes.
Yeah. And they're, as poker players, we're also impulsive. Like,
Of course.
we're
Yeah.
just friends. So like we started to deal, and then all of a sudden, years go by, and
Yeah.
now it's like through the backers downswings and your downswings, it's like, oh, now we're both kind of sad for each other.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. I mean, that's the other thing too is you like, both feel bad, right? Like you feel bad losing someone money. That person like feels bad that they're losing money, but like they feel bad that you feel bad. But actually, yeah.
So, sorry, quick aside for me again. I played a member golf tournament with Sean Daniels.
Okay.
I don't know
Yeah,
if you
no,
play with
I
him. Okay.
know.
So like we're about to like tee off, and I was like, dude, I fucking hate it when like friends of mine tell me sorry when I already know they feel bad.
Mhm.
Like we're on the same team, we're gonna do
Mhm.
our best. He's like, we should come up with a code word. I was like, sure, you got it. Tell me the code word. He's like, banana. I was like, okay, fine. So like we're just screaming banana like every time we hit a bad shot, not even telling
Yeah.
the people we're playing with what the fuck we're doing. We're just
That's
screaming
awesome.
banana at each other the entire day.
That's
Anyway, yeah.
I like that.
Like the last one, like I think we got like 5th or 6th, like overall, which is really good for us because we didn't expect to do well. And like he literally just arrives like goes banana.
Justin, banana that I never made you any money.
You still have a chance. You're not dead yet.
So
Fucking
far.
step to it. All right, so first bracelet, 250K.
Yeah.
Like I mean, this is like, and
Like-
again, like
Yeah, that was just a
not to put too fine a point on it, but like the entire poker community kind of felt not sorry for you, but like kind of like knew you as like kind of the bubble boy. Like
Yeah.
you were the poster child of the bubble boy, basically.
No, I think I had yeah, it's actually funny. I remember I got interviewed by Poker News like the week before. They went and like asked like 20 regs who runs the walls, and every single reg said me.
Yeah.
And then like they interviewed me. They're like, everyone said you. Like, what do you think? And I was
What a
like,
nice lead-in question.
yeah. Like, it was literally the question. But like this was like post me coming out of the like having tried the job. So
Sure.
I was like really in this moment of gratitude for like being back in poker. I mean, not that I'd ever really left, but whatever.
Yeah.
But like knowing I wanted to do it. So I will say that that's been like a big difference, like post job, pre job is like when I was down swinging pre-taking the job, I was like, kind of felt like I ended up in this world that I didn't know what I was signing up for. And like, I hate it. This sucks. Like, I lose. The variance is so stupid. Like, I have to deal with all these like people trying to hustle me. Like, I was like this really dark place. And like, even though like, yeah, you make choices, I was kind of like, this decision I made as like a 21-year-old kid playing like 1-2 a full house is like dictating how I feel now as like 29 or whatever. It bothered me. And then post it, I was like, hey, I tried something else. Like, I know this is what I want to do. And like, it did make everything prospectively feel a lot better because I was like, yeah, like, sure, I lost, I ran bad, but like, that's just is what it is. And like, I'd rather be doing this than anything else. And that was kind of like what I told them at the time. But yeah, it was funny because it was like a week before I ended up winning, whatever this tournament for 5.5 million. So makes it a little bit better.
So like, I don't need like hand for hands or stuff like that.
Yeah.
But give me some of the details because like you've been, like you said, so close to cashing so many times and been fucked so many times. Were you like on the bubble with like a vulnerable stack? Like, I mean, did some of these bad thoughts go through your head basically? More what I'm getting to.
I remember. So I had sold. We had, like I said, at this point we had realized we didn't want to own dime everything, so we had sold some off stake. So I remember texting someone I had sold to. I don't know if they would want me to say it or not, but whatever.
Okay.
But someone who was like in the high roller community, and I was on bullet 2. I had lost bullet 1 to chance put ace queen off in like a spot where it was like it was a pretty big blunder to put it in and won the flip against my tens. And I was like very annoyed. I came back. I bagged like Stalding stack. I went into day 2, and I remember I was like down to 60% of Stalding or something. And it was like right before this hand, I like texted. I was like, I'm blinded out of the tournament. Like, I literally never win. It's so stupid. And I looked down at like 6-5 suited. I was in the small blind. It was like min raise, call. I think I flat the small. I have like 26 big. Maybe I think it was full ways. So I think I went open call. I flat the small big blind calls. Yep. Flop comes ace 8 4 rainbow. I just have the gutter. It goes like check, like 15% pot call. I call, and the guy calls. And I know thinking in my head, I was like, for the love of God, put the 7 that gives me the flush draw. That was the thought in my head. It wasn't poker strategy. I was just like, if they was like fucking God, it's gonna be the 7 off the
No hand raises, like he probably has his queen. He's just like,
I'm not thinking about poker. I'm like, I can't bluff for this pot. Like, I'm dead if I don't hit the 7. It's like, please, for the love of God, give me the 7. And they just like put the 7 with my flush draw on the turn. I have like,
it's Chris Brewer up in heaven. Yeah, who was right? It was the poker player.
There's like 50 to 60% pot left. I shove. Everyone folds. I win this pot. I have like 1.5 Stalding stacks. And then like the very next hand, I end up winning this like big pot blind versus blind. I have like 3 stacks and like went through like rest of the day like pretty good. On the bubble or like soft bubble, I won ace queen against ace king against Christoph. For like 20 big, like I covered, but it was still there's still some like 18 big blind flip, which like these things are huge to win. It was just like everything was totally different. And then like I remember we bagged and I was like 5th stack or something. And I'm not like someone who believes in like feelings. I think that stuff's bullshit. I don't think you can feel if you're gonna win an all in on anything. But like whatever it was, I was in like some very mentally good place. I was like in this group chat and someone like was like, "Oh, good luck tomorrow." I was like, don't worry, I'm gonna win. That was like the text I said. I was like, I'm just gonna win. I don't know. But I'm going to.
That's a very Sean Winter thing to say.
Yeah. It was like, I'm not the guy like Texas. I'm usually just like, yeah, hope see how it goes. Yeah. Like whatever.
If I play my best, I'll do my best.
I was like in the mood. I was like, I'm gonna win. And then I think to this day, it's like, I mean, it's easy to say because like, oh, you won, whatever, you feel good. But I think to this day, it's still like the cleanest final table I've ever played. Like I was just in this good mental state. The calls went well. Everything just went well. And yeah, it was a very fun moment. But I remember that hand, those like other hands that were like strategically more interesting, but just, I do know it was like right when I sent the text. And then I was just like, please
put that fucking stuff.
Like everyone's been there too. Like you're like in the 4-bet pot or something where you have like 9s and you're just like, give me a 9
or I'm out next hand.
Yeah.
I really wish there was a camera on you in that exact moment because I'm here like,
I would like to think I didn't give anything off. Yeah, that would be pretty
funny. They all check back and fold it to your shove. So
you go, yes. Yeah. I can't believe they all folded. literally lifted the table with your erection, but like sure you don't have a tell.
That does remind me. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. I actually saw something, not the erection ball, but I saw something like this one time playing 2-5, man. It's like a paled board. Whatever. The guy gets check raised, calls. The river brings in like a straight flush possibility, and the guy looks at the call and just goes, "Yes!" And then just jams all in. It was against my friend. My friend has full house and just like sat there and thought for like 4 minutes and finally called, and the guy just shows him the straight flush. He literally just stood up, said yes, and jammed. He just like completely lost control of his emotions, forgot that he was playing poker,
and was not punished for it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can't fold top boat there because like
he definitely could. The guy announced yes and went all in.
All right, I'm gonna
Does that put a straight flush out there?
Wow, I'm all in.
So all you need is a 6 and an 8 of spades.
Dude, it really was. It was so ridiculous. Oh,
I'm gonna try that in my next bluff.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, it's not
the guy got called. Remember?
Yeah, I know.
yeah, you also gotta really sell the genuineness of it. Like there was zero chance it was an act.
Yeah. So how much was their first bracelet for?
So it was 5.5 million.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And B, still in makeup.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, Art.
Sorry.
I mean, I feel like I'm the jerk of the.
I mean,
episode
it's hilarious though if you think about it. I won 20 buy-ins.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
I was in for 2.
In for 2. Yeah.
I was in for 2, and I cashed for 22 buy-ins. Like, I mean, it was awesome. I'm not trying to like take away from this, but like, what is playing like all the high wall scene is it's a bunch of 60 to 100 man sit and goes,
right?
And like people like really put a lot of meaning and importance into it, and like at the moment it felt like that thing is still like an important thing. I am proud of the final table. I'm proud that it happened, but it is funny because like, people used to play 100 man sit and goes online, and like it was, you could look at like the way people swung, like people would just swing down for thousands of games and be Cleo winners and swing up, and like we just have this stuff all the time. Like someone just goes on like some 7 tournament heater at Triton and just all of Turtles is like, he's the new greatest player in the world. Like he won 4 all-ins in a row. How could anyone play better?
Why are you talking about Jesse Lonis this way? That's rude.
Yeah, I mean Jesse's the current one, but like
Vanilla Gorilla.
The Vanilla Gorilla. We crowned him on the show, by the way.
But I mean, those just like, it's just always like there was I mean, like Adrian went on the Heedle, and like he was announced
Fedor. I mean, whatever.
Fatal, Bonamo, Bren, like, and all these guys are great poker players. Like, none of this is saying, but it's just we put a lot of meaning into like this thing that's kind of silly if you lower the money amount.
I can't remember who we had on. Art probably remembers, but we asked them, or I don't know. They brought a story about like someone asked them like, who's the best like poker player, and they're like, all right, well, who won the last tournament? And it's like, whoever that is, that's the best one because like A, they won, and B, like they have the confidence going forward.
Yeah, I don't believe in confidence. That one, I was at a table the other day and someone said that confidence is the most important thing. And I was like, I mean, maybe at lower levels. I don't know. If you play long enough and you've walked hard, like you're probably going to play, like if you have like if you're playing the highest tournaments in the world and your B or C game is that much different than your A game, like you shouldn't be playing these stakes. So like, I feel like people like will say all this stuff about
those stakes.
No, fair enough.
But like, it's like, it reminds me of like, there's like the hot hand fallacy in basketball, right? Like everyone says like, oh, this guy's like, he's running, he's on fire tonight. He can't miss a shot. And like, if you look statistically, people shoot the same after they made or missed the last shot on like a large sample. It's just like a complete human bias thing. I've never, so like, I think, I mean, can it make a small difference? Like, yeah, but
there we go. All right, we got it.
Yeah. But like, I think people really do overrate this idea that like, oh, this guy's heroing. He's playing his best right now. This guy.
I mean, I do. Agree to disagree, I guess.
I understand, like, just in sports, like, forget about poker or whatever, because there's enough variance in poker where it can be definitely skewed. But like, in sports, like, there were definitely days where like, I know I couldn't miss it. Like, definitely days in tennis where like I was like, you hit it my backhand. I'm hitting a winner down the line every single time.
I do think those like good and bad days, and I do think like those mental breaks. But I also think like baseball is a great example of something. Like Mike Trout can go in a slump. Mike Trout that guy's still the best player on baseball every single day he steps up to the plate, even if he's not feeling confident.
That's fair enough. Yeah. I think it's more for the broken people.
I think the like for me, when I was like at my peak running, whether or not I felt like that confident or not, I was gonna run well. Like,
You're still gonna run your whatever.
yeah,
Sorry,
I was so trained at this moment,
Yeah.
like you were gonna be within like, some half percent performance
Gotcha.
every time, no matter what. But like I will say if I go play like tennis right now, which I suck at, if I start getting frustrated, I might just literally hit every shot out of bounds.
Right.
So I think this stuff, the less experienced you all, the more it has an effect. But I I would like to think at the highest levels that people can
Sure.
still
Okay.
perform the way they're supposed to.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Because I was
Yeah.
just thinking, yeah, if you're less experienced or you are, less studied, then
Yeah.
it matters when you win a few hands in a row.
Yeah. I mean, it is. If everything you do is based on and this is a fine way to play poker because like it can win. Those guys who win a ton doing this, but if everything you do is based on like, what does my opponent have? What are they going to do? I'm going to guess this. Like, it's not some theory framework. It is going to matter a lot more that you feel good about these decisions. While like if your approach is just like, what's the answer? I'm going to do this. Probably matters a little less because as long as you know the answer, you can just do the thing. Not saying that's a better approach or worse approach.
Sure.
It is going to affect how much you like need confidence to play.
No, that's fair. If you already know the answer to the quiz and know you're gonna be wrong still 40% of the time,
Yeah.
you can just be confident with like your answer.
Yeah, it was like,
over
it
and
is
over
what
again.
it
Who
is.
cares?
But obvious, I will say in poker, none of us, no one at the high stakes is like to that level. We don't like most spots. We're like, I don't know. I hope I'm right.
Yeah, but at least you're deciding between two things that might be 1 percentage point
Yeah.
apart, whereas we're in there punting.
So nothing to do with that, but then you won your second bracelet pretty quickly after that.
Yeah, that one was that one is hilarious. By the way, it was a 10K single draw where I like hopped in because Dan Zach was like, "Yeah, you should play. It's fun." And like the entire tournament, I was just like, "I am losing at this tournament." That is like all I said to people. I was just like, "Yeah, I know."
down, up, I'm down.
I was like, "I am not good at this game. Like, I'm playing this for fun. Like, I am not a winner." And then I just like, yeah, I was like at the final table, and I was just like, "Yeah, this is extremely silly." And then I got heads up, and I was like, "Yeah, this is the silliest thing ever." And then I won. And at no point did I ever think like they interviewed me after, and like, "Oh, like how did this bracelet like feel compared to your last one?" I was like, "Well, the last one's like a game I think I'm winning in that like I try at, like I put a lot of effort in." I was like, "This one, like I showed up and the dealer was just like, 'Hey, would you like a bracelet?' And I was like, 'Yeah, high five.'"
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome. Like, it was a great experience, but I don't think I could take much credit for it.
Did you play it the following year and every year
I actually
since?
didn't play it.
Oh, you didn't defend your
I'm-
championship?
I didn't defend it, so I'm undefeated at the.
Wow, you learned his
Come at
lesson
me.
and got paid.
Yeah, world champion and never beaten.
All right. Well, kind of leads us into like this summer. Like obviously, like this is day 2. I've mentioned a few times. We're all happy and optimistic right now, or at least you are. I guess I don't know how it feels right now. I think he booked a small winner last night in our cash game. Which is good for him.
Yeah, that's the poker level player optimism depends on the little if it's red or green the night before.
Yeah.
I'll tell
It's
you what,
crazy.
I have a weird, I mean, not to get off topic, but I won 30K last night. Shout out to me.
Drags.
Left the casino with I think it was like 40K less than I came in with because everybody needed to borrow money. So
Dude,
that was
no. I had. All right, this is gonna be a quick aside. I had this at EPT in Monaco. I had like a very good trip. I chopped the 30K. I like went deep in like a mystery bounty, and like the way my own action worked out, I had like won a lot. But like I front the liquidity a lot of times with people I like who have bought. And at the end of the trip, I'm like going to try it, and I'm like, I have no money. I was like, theoretically, I'm up like some like good amount, but I was like, I have nothing. I was like, I need you guys to send.
Yeah. Hope everybody that I bought a piece of shows up
Well,
at this tournament.
As one of those guys that owes you money, I'm good for it. I think I might
No,
split pay you.
it is
for
a
mine.
funny-
You owe me money.
It is a
I
funny
do.
experience though when you win and you just leave with less than you came with.
Yeah.
Like, how did this happen?
Yeah, it feels just like losing. Actually, it's
Yeah.
losing adjacent. Losing
Yeah.
is worse. But
So what's your World Series? You live here in town, so like
So
you're
I
available
just-
for all of it.
I just moved back. I was living in New York and New Jersey area for the last 3 years, but moved back a month ago. So I'm now living here. And yeah, I don't know. My plan's probably to play slightly less than I've done. I mean, last summer I played everything. I had a crossbook. Oh, not it wasn't a crossbook, but I had some bet with Jared Blesnick, and we had to play a ton. And I'm not doing that this year. It was not an enjoyable experience having to play. I like the World Series, but if you're like forced to play every day, it's just the worst. Like you bust something, and you're like, I have to go play the 10K limit now, and you're like, I'm not winning in this tournament. I'm not good at this game. It's not a fun game. But like I have to go sit and play in it because I have this like dumb side bet. Like that was terrible. I hated that. So I'm not doing anything like that this year. Also, like I want to try to for the last like 3 years, I've really focused on like doing what I like enjoy in poker, which is like trying to be really good at the game, trying to like just play tough players, see if I can beat them. I want to try to start doing a little less of that and trying to like be a little bit more selective about picking like plus EV spots. So like I'd like to play more cash this summer. I would like to play less tournaments. Just you know, balance it out a little. Maybe I don't have to spend all my time just being like sitting at the table with like Stevie and Ike and Jason and being like, all right, which one of us can like hit the check raise battle?
Yeah, fair. So, but you're still gonna play a handful, probably just like the 10Ks and bigger or whatever.
I'm gonna play a lot. I mean, I'm gonna play the 5K today. I'm still gonna play a ton of poker.
Sure.
And like, I mean, I assume I'll max late reg a lot of stuff too. Like, if I bust the 5K today, I don't see a reason I won't hop in this 1K mystery. I mean, partially because like it'd be fun to draw $1 million. You know, if Matt Glantz can do it.
Dude, I was like 2 tables away from that like center stage when he did it. I was like, of course he did it. I don't like. It's like I'm mad at him. I like Matt so much. Like
yeah, Matt's awesome.
He's amazing. But for some reason, my mind immediately went to like, of course he fucking did it. Team lucky.
I was at I was bowling with Paul Volpe when he drew it, and Volpe had a swap, and Volpe was like, Volpe was like, all the text said was, "We got $1 million." No exclamation, nothing. And Paul's like, I'm 98% sure he's telling the truth. He's like, it really would be out of character for Matt to troll me.
A weird troll.
Yeah, but he's like, but I have to call him to verify.
We got 1 million reasons for you to call me right now. All right, let's move into the promotional phase of the show, guys. If you're I'm just, you got the poker coaching shirt on.
I do.
You should probably say words about that. I would think.
Yeah. Yeah, I signed with them. I think before last summer. So I don't know. I might sign with them at some point.
I'd like to pitch so far.
He fronted all the liquidity. They're not paying him.
They have paid me. That part. I didn't have to front liquidity. No, I mean, I think the site's really good. They've added like quite a lot of stuff in terms of I think like Jonathan Little products and poker coaching gets a little bit more associated with like being focused for low stakes players or like people newer to the game, which still is a lot of that stuff. But now they've brought in like me, they brought in David Peters, they brought in
Shannon Shore's there.
Shannon Shore, Brock Wilson's there. So there's a lot more like high I would say like high stakes content that's been added. Also, I think just yesterday they announced like Alex Livingston's coming on for mixed game. So I think it's like pretty exciting. A lot more stuff is moving to like find a nice balance of you do want something for people who are new to the game who want coaching to have a place, which Jonathan Lowe's done an incredible job of that, and then adding in some stuff. So high stakes players also have a place to go and get good content as well.
I think it's super important to have that value ladder.
Yeah, I mean,
start out knowing nothing, and then
it's something that isn't available in the coaching space really outside of us. I think like Run It Once and Upswing and what is another coaching course? Whatever.
Quit naming your competitors.
Yeah, no, even like GTO Wizard or something. Like if you're someone who's like, hey, I've like just started playing like 1-2, I'm moving up to 2-5, and like I want to improve. Like those are terrible for you. Yep. They're gonna be like, oh, like look at this like PO output, and you're like, dude, I don't know what an opening range is.
Right. Yeah. It's good to have something that can teach you the ropes and then kind of still hold your hand the whole way up until you can, fly on your own, little birdie.
Yeah. I think poker is something. It is. Have you ever actually tried to like someone who's like brand new to poker? If you try to like teach them about it, it is so difficult.
Yeah.
Because
my dad's been watching poker for 10 years and still doesn't know how the big blind works. And I still don't know how to explain it to him.
Yeah. I mean, obviously there's the lingo, but also just like being like, yeah. So like, you're like, you have your opening range and someone's like, what is a range? And you're like, well, it's this. And like, but what if I play a different hand? I'm like, well, that hand's in your range then. I don't know.
Yeah, that's basically why I've refused every single time someone's asked me to teach them poker, just because I'm just like, I think I'd be a bad coach, just because like,
Yeah,
they'd be like, what if I play this? I'll be like, oh, that's a good idea, actually. And instead, I was just like, no.
like 7-3 suited is a sweet hand. You have a point.
I have remember making a straight with that hand. So, okay, I'm listening. Go ahead. You teach me now.
No, I say this. I do like private coaching with people, and I've had people reach out who are on like a lower level, and I will always say, I'm like, hey, if you really want it, like, I'm not gonna say no. Like, I have this service. This is what it costs. Sure, but like, I'm too expensive for what you're doing right now. I'm not like even that helpful. Like, you'd be so much better off going to other people for private coaching, like, who all used to doing this. Like, I'm not the person who like, I'm gonna teach you how to play pre-flop. Like, that's not.
I feel like in every sport or game, you want to have someone that's just like one level above.
Exactly.
You.
I was going to say, if
Yeah,
you're playing 2-5,
Grandmaster can't
get a
teach
5-10
you.
guy to teach you how to beat 2-5.
Yes,
If you're playing 10-5 or 5-10, then you find a 10-20 player,
Yeah, I
vice
agree.
versa.
If you're brand new to running, you don't need to go get like an Olympic track coach. That's probably not. That's
You're punting.
yeah.
Why
You're like,
spend
can
all that money?
he help you? Yeah, but like, he's not going to help you any more than like the local high school coach for the first few months. He might help you 5 months down. More.
And even going back to the chess analogy, it's like the grandmaster, like all the opening stuff, like that's just like they just know it. They don't even know how to play it anymore because they've learned it like so long ago.
I feel like I've watched like quite a lot of Magnus Carlsen content because I just find him fascinating. Because I think it's crazy that this game that's like so relatively solved, he's still so much better than the second best person in the world.
Right.
Like, how is that?
He just got beat pretty good here recently. Like, I think he was playing like not bots, but like 9 other people all at once or whatever. And but he lost he went like 6 or 2, 6 and 1 or something.
Oh wow,
like that. Yeah.
It's really bad for him.
Yeah.
But like, I think it's like even like freestyle chess, like he's still like the best at it. Like, I find him like an interesting person. But you like hear him talk about chess compared to even hearing like the other grandmasters, and it's weird because like he obviously knows everything, but it's almost like it's so obvious to him he can't explain it.
Right.
He's just like, oh well, if you do this opening, like obviously these 5 things are the output.
It'll happen like 20 moves later. Don't you see that?
Yeah, it is. Like, but it's just like so obvious to him. I don't think he even like thinks he's like saying something that's like impressive.
Right.
Like a call who's like that. If you ever watch his stream, where he's just like, you do this, and then these 28 moves are gonna happen, and you're like, okay, sure.
I'm just watching you for the pre moves.
Yeah.
We've got a chance to play with him poker wise anyway. And,
That's true. Yeah.
He was
Magnus.
pretty boring. No, I mean I probably a little bit too methodical, maybe a little bit of duck out of water. So like I kind of get it, but
yeah, he doesn't strike me as someone who like is ever going to be like particularly massive degen.
Yeah,
I think he's you have someone who's like likes being good at games. You're probably not going to enjoy. I actually, this is the side. Did you guys ever see what Jimmy Butler went on a Hustler? I found that such a fascinating thing because Jimmy Butler's obviously this like insanely competitive athlete, and very competitive elite athletes are very different personality from like people who just want to gamble. And like the Hustler is like based around people who want to gamble. And I felt like they didn't understand that like for Jimmy Butler, the fun of poker isn't playing for $100,000. He can make the money. Like that's not the fun of play is like try to see like can they win at this game. Yeah. And he was so mad at everyone for like trying to gamble. He's like, I want to play poker.
Come on.
Yeah,
play cards.
Yeah, he's like, play Bettle, you idiots.
No, I remember those in the low stakes games or whatever. I would come down and like I still do it. Like I'll still play 2-5 to this day. People get mad at me. I'm sorry, I'm giving you action. Sorry, I just try to bluff off my entire stack to you.
Yeah, you're like,
my bad.
I've sat at the 1-2 table and you go all in blind while drinking, and you always end up in a fight with some like 42-year-old guy that has headphones on.
Yeah, he's mad at you for. We did like the splash pot thing one time. We went out and like we were all drinking and. It's like, oh, let's take a break and let's go to a 1-2 table. We'll all pick a horse and we're gonna put 500 in the middle for them. But like, we are all also side betting on who's gonna win the pot. And so we all stand behind our player. And I got a guy that had $40 in front of him. I chose him. I was like, oh, I want the guy with 40. He's getting insane odds on this free 500. He folded queen 10.
By the way, it was a good fold. The guy with kings held.
Yeah, kings held.
By the way, how do people always have amazing hands at these scenarios? It's always some situation where I'm like, all right, everyone should be all in. And like 4 people go all in, and they're like, we have kings, queens, jacks, and aces. And I'm like, what has happened?
players.
Dude, this is like every tournament I ever play. I swear, if someone like loses 90% of those stack, they all guaranteed to have top 7% next hand.
Yep.
It's incredible.
Here comes my fake tilt with my strong
yeah, it's
hand.
like, I'm gonna fold everything now because I'm gonna tilt it. Oh fuck, okay, I'm playing this one. Well, that's true.
All right. Well, if people want to follow you throughout the summer and the future, what do we got? You got Twitter or
Yeah, I got
Instagram?
Twitter. I think
or?
it's a Christy Brewer, like a D, not
Yep.
Christy.
Gotcha. Chris loves the D.
Yeah,
Brewer.
yeah. Chris loves the D. There you go.
Sorry.
That one might be
Sorry.
someone else. So.
It might be.
Yeah, it could, yeah. That's actually the fake.
That'd be funny.
All right. And who drafted you in fantasy? Who are you anti-sweating and while you sweat yourself?
They did draft me. This is bad.
It's not us. I know that.
They talked to me. They offered me a piece. I just forgot their name.
Ooh.
This is so
Ooh,
bad.
I like it. Yeah, even more reason to shit on him. Let's go.
No, I mean, yeah, I mean, I hope I give them like decent value. I would have drafted myself for less.
There you go.
If I was playing the entire summer, I think I was good value. But I think with me trying to do other stuff,
Did you tell everyone you were playing everything? So that you could
no, I
throw them off the
feel,
scent.
I feel bad about that. I do respect the people who are just like I don't approve of it, but I do respect the people who are just like ruthless in all these aspects.
Mm.
Who are just like, yeah, like if there's an edge, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't have it in me.
I don't like that kind of people. But
I don't
yeah,
like
yeah.
it, but I'm impressed that they can like stick to it. I'm like, how do you just like deal with everyone hating you?
Yeah. Right. Or how are you always thinking of the angle?
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Is that it?
I think that's it, buddy.
All right.
All right.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Art.
Yeah. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks, me.
Go win the 5K.
Me and my buddy, we making all of this money. Yeah, I know it's rude to be bragging.